There you go, guys. And morning if you are joining us. Again, we have been up for a while. I'm
The breakfast show.
the breakfast. What is that movie? The Breakfast Club. What a movie!
The Battlefield Breakfast Club.
met die Mickey Mouse crowd, or what? Anyway, guys, if you are joining us this morning, thank you very much for joining. With me, as always, the regular crew. Now, we're on to a new season, and I don't have a new name for Scully yet. He's been everything.
I think we should just keep to this. Just keep to this.
He's
to
been
the
a,
name.
you've been a cowboy, you've been a
name.
Terminator.
The
So I think this season we'll keep you original. We'll keep you the Scully Rebel.
Yeah, just the Scully.
How are you, Scully?
That's fine.
Good?
Lekker new, bro. It's nice, bright and early, crispy.
Lekker, man. And Scully,
Yeah.
you had your birthday this week. It was your 21st, but it was a double XP game.
Nice
Yeah,
one.
that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, it was double XP for me on Wednesday. I had awesome time with the family and so on. Great fun.
Lekker, man, lekker, and it was all good. And then, of course, this morning it's also, well, it's not this morning, it's probably somewhere today. It's also Roxanne or Homegirl's birthday as well. So a couple of people in the league, you know, having their
Yeah.
birthdays this week and things like that. I saw they were out celebrating last night, and you know, that's also good. And then also we have the Slashinator with us this morning as well. Slash, what's up?
How's it, man? Lekker.
Yeah.
A bit early, really a bit early. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's considering what time you decided to go to bed last night, right? I saw some communication very, very late. So you decided to push the
least somebody
boundaries a
was
little
awake.
bit. Yeah. But pushing the boundaries a little bit last night, yeah?
Yeah, no, we had to.
All good. Guys, so if you are joining us this morning, again, thank you very much for joining. You are joining the Clan Wars recap show for week 1, season 3. I can't believe it's season 3. This will, of course, be the last official season of that we do for Battlefield Clan Wars on Battlefield 1. But obviously there's some stuff happening in the community as well, even at the moment. And then, of course, you know, after season 3 there will also be some community stuff happening. I think I want to give a shout out to some streamers that have come on board for season 3. There's quite a number of guys that have come on board and, you know, try to do some games this week and bring some of these Battlefield Clan War games to the community. I think in particular this week I saw quite a number of streams by the drunken streamers once again. So guys, thank you very much for that and making sure that we bring some good games to the community. I also saw there was some other streams going on. You know, the girls were streaming as well. GSG saw their streams as well. Of course, amidst all of the league stuff going on, you know, there's some other comms going on as well and some other initiatives. I know that SNLV is still busy with their TDM competition, and then I saw Gig had that 200% server last night running, which I believe was quite an interesting thing that happened as well. Quite a number of people joined on that server as well. So there's a bunch of stuff happening in the community. But obviously at the moment season 3 is pretty much what most people are focusing on, and I think we're going to make it a good one, guys.
Yeah.
this is where you jump on board and go, yes.
Yeah.
I'm still sleeping, yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think it's one of those bit of a slow start to the season, but I think things will bump up and start moving.
I think it's more a slow start to a Saturday morning, if you ask me.
True that, yeah, for sure.
But look, obviously there's been some discussions this week. I don't know why I always say discussions this week. I mean, it's Clan Wars, right? There's freaking discussions every week.
Oh, every day.
But Scully, there was some interesting stuff that you saw as well, and we talked about last night. Maybe you want to give the guys a bit of a overview on that.
Yeah, one of the things that we've noticed is that there is still a few clans that haven't registered all their players. And we only found it fair to issue them some yellow cards. So the yellow cards are on the table very early in the game. Some teams have already received 2 yellow cards for fixtures or the results that hasn't been posted. So I just want to remind you guys to please, get those, do your bit of admin on the side, just to complete the whole thing at the end of the day. I think there's 2 or 3 teams that haven't done their rosters yet. I think SOA eventually did their roster during the course of this week sometime. And from the top of my head, I think CTK is also one of the teams that haven't updated the rosters yet, but that's we'll sort that out. But yeah, in a nutshell, it's basically just admin issues, Jaco. There's, besides the server crashes that we had during the course of the week, it's only some minor administrative issues that we've got, guys that's slacking a bit on reporting the scores and doing the fixtures and that kind of thing. And obviously, when we do a show like this on a Saturday, it's a fixed time, and we try to keep things consistent.
Yeah.
So if we don't have these teams that play their part, to complete the circle, then obviously we have a problem, and we're not there 100% where we want to be.
Yeah.
So that's it's not major issues, but it is a bit of a toothache.
Of course.
At the end of the day.
But
I think all in all, everybody's very excited. I know the monkeys are all fired up for this season.
Yeah, I saw some cool pics and some vids already and all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah, I saw some videos there from Mully's, how to become a monkey. I saw that, diving in that river. I don't know if you saw that scene.
Yeah,
diving
in
the river.
I did.
Flanking the guy, jumping out of the water there like a fish and then stabbing, Yes, it's rough stuff. But yeah, that's awesome. Nice to see the videos coming in and the guys sharing their thoughts and so on. It's excellent.
Cool. And then you were talking about the server crashes that happened this week, and Slash, I know that you were communicating with some teams as well around what happened, and there were obviously some games that have been postponed and that sort of stuff, which we'll get to when we talk about the tables. But your view on the server crashes, you think it had a massive influence this week?
Yeah, there's obviously some guys who couldn't play. I don't think it was too major. I just want to say again, for the guys who don't know, I mean, I think it's important that you look at the rules. We've put in some rules last season that we've noticed for these kind of things. Games needs to be played in I think it's you've got to decide and play within the next 48 hours. I see the video has gone down, Jaco. But yeah, if you cannot come to an agreement when the game must be played, then you need to refer to Boaks or to Rips or Homegirl, one of these guys, so that they can assist with that final ruling. At the end of the day, we've got to move forward, so we've got to put that games in the roster, and they need to get played, and we need to know when they are going to be played, so that we can continue with this show in the morning. But I don't think it was too major. We heard about some of the guys that couldn't play, but I think most of the teams could get their fixtures in. Yeah.
And then, of course, as you mentioned, rightfully, maybe a big shout out to Riplets, Monster, and Homegirl, Roxy there, for assisting us this season in some of the, call it the laboring admin tasks that there are around, and especially now in the beginning of the season, they've done some really, really good work. So a big shout out to those two, and then obviously, as always, to Niku, who's our league master, and making sure that the issues get sorted out if there are any, and that sort of thing. So a big shout out to those two guys as well. Those three guys, 2 guys and a girl. Yes, like it sounds like a girl.
And a girl.
Wasn't there a show
2
like
guys
that?
and a girls.
there was a series like that or something, I'm sure. Two guys and a girl with, I don't know, can't remember. Anyway, so guys, as Slash mentioned, there are some some rule updates and things, so please make sure that you do familiarize yourself with the rules, specifically around the game mode in terms of conquest, but also around the general rule set. And I mean, I also know our community has some like super talented people, right? I mean, just off the top of my head, over the last week or so, I mean, there was a video there by Mr. Bueto, who's a DJ, and he was, throwing out some DJ stuff there. Then we had, I saw a video about Amir, who's a rather good guitarist or electric guitarist. So, I mean, I know the community has talented people, but please don't be so talented to make up your own rules. That's not the idea. The idea is the rules are there, they are set, and please familiarize yourself with them. Obviously, as always, if there's questions about the rules and stuff like that, I mean, you can just ask the question. I mean, Discord is there, Facebook is there, we've got DMs, so we can sort out the rules. The first port of call is, of course, always the specific call it Game Master, or that'll be for the T5, that'll be Riplets, and for the T12, that'll be Homegirl. And if you have a bigger issue or a game issue that you need to sort out, Niku's there as a League Master, but the three of us, myself, Scully, and Rebel, Scully, Rebel, and Slash are always available to answer questions if it's dire as well. I do get annoyed though when I have to answer a question and it's like sort of number one on the rules, so please read through the rules first. But we're always there to answer the questions anyway, so but hopefully, I mean, that helps. Now
I just want to give a shout out there to, I think from ITF, I think it's Captain Shabby, who put that list together for us. Got his hands dirty and put a lot of work into that list for the guns, which are allowed and not allowed, and
the weapons
that kind
list.
of thing. So the weapons list. So that obviously took a lot of time, but just thanks for doing that. We appreciate it. And it's nice to see that the guys actually, on the sideline also participate in their own way. Because obviously we can't get to everything. Running a league like this takes a hell of a lot of time, and obviously we all have got jobs, so we only got a limited time to spend on these things. We don't do it 24/7, although it might look like that.
And sometimes feel like that.
And sometimes feel like that, exactly. So thanks to Captain Shabby there from ITF for putting that weapons list together.
Excellent. And guys, just talking about the weapons list, which Scully just mentioned, you can of course find that on the website as well. It's not under the rules section. I had a question last night where to find it. You can actually find it. It will be under the news section and under the menu item called Clan Wars. You will see the very first article or category there is the Battlefield 1 weapons listing for the Premier League and T5, and that's of course the list of weapons that are allowed, and that excludes the DLC weapons. So I mean, I know we get a lot of questions around, is this a DLC weapon, or is this a weapon that is allowed, or this or that, whatever may be the case. So please go and have a look at that document there. Again, thank you for the guys from ITF. You can find it there on the website, which is of course the Clan Wars website. If you don't know where to find it, it's www.bfclanwars.net, and it's under the news section, under the menu item called Clan Wars. That is where you will get it. Yep. If you guys, if you have joined us this morning, thank you again very much for joining. You are joining the first recap show of season 3. If you are already subscribed to our channel, thank you very much for that. If you are not, please hit the little subscribe button. Also hit your little bell to get the notification so that you don't miss whenever we go online. It does help us with what we are trying to do, and the growth of what we're trying to do with Battlefield Clan Wars and the Battlefield community.
Just having a look. Sorry, Jaco, I'm just having a look at this list. It's a hell of a list.
No, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. So if you, I don't know, actually, Sky, let me pull it up, because I wanted to talk a little bit about the different weapons and that sort of stuff. The list it's magnanimous.
Obviously, as the game progresses through within its life cycle of about 2 years, and they add DLCs, they add weapons and that kind of thing. But this is one hell of a long list.
Yeah, look, obviously this list also includes some Battlefield 5 weapons, right? So some weapons...
They added the new ones already.
Yeah, some of the weapons that have already been announced, you'll see them, they are in orange. And it actually says Battlefield 5 next to them. And then the red ones are the DLC weapons. So basically, you can play with any green weapon. Now, to be honest, I don't know why you would want to play with a DLC, because there are so many green weapons available.
Yeah, I see that. If you look, I like the color coding thing that's happening here.
Yeah. No, it's kind of like a... But Slash, you obviously, you like swapping guns. I'm not a gun swapper. I pick a gun and that's what I play with. But every time I see you play with a different gun. So you've obviously probably experienced most of these weapons, right?
I wouldn't say that. I think I play and I unlock the guns. Probably that's why you see me playing with guns.
Okay.
Or people are killing me too often, and then I don't know which gun to play with to make my skills improve. But it's actually not the gun thing. It's the player thing. So, but yeah, there is a lot of guns in this game, and I think it also made it quite a bit of a challenge with the comps. Because of these games becoming part of the base game now, and previously it was a DLC and putting all these things together. But I think a fantastic job by ITF to put that list together. I mean, during the week I was looking for information, because obviously there were some discussions about certain guns that was not banned, that should have been banned, and trying to find out when they came out and are they really DLC or not. And I mean, there is nowhere on the net that I could find, this kind of information. So
this is
really well
awesome.
done to putting this together, and the colors makes it for this kind of thing. It makes it a lot easier. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm very impressed with this. Yes, this really took I would say a good amount of time to put together. So thanks for that, buddy. That's an awesome job that you did with this weapons list.
Yeah, and look, I mean, obviously, Scully, you would vouch for this, that the way that we've always sort of run these seasons is that every season we've added sort of more and more information, and we've also learned from our mistakes, right, in terms of what rules should be added or not. I mean, I know you can recall from season 1 when we had very little rules in place. There had to be some creative thinking as the season went on.
Yeah.
Whereas
on the fly changes.
Yeah. Whereas I think now the on the fly changes are getting less and less, right? Because a lot of these, a lot of this information is pre-prepared. It's already on there. And I mean, obviously, you've been sort of at the back end, making sure that the guys are updating the rules as things come up and that sort of thing between yourself and Slash. So I think at the moment, things are pretty bedded down, right?
Yeah, I think we're not there 100%. We would like to get this thing perfect, and this edition of this weapons list, I think, is definitely something that we have to make available on the new Battlefield right from the beginning. And as the Battlefield 5 DLCs and new weapons and stuff like that gets released, we just need to update this list, or a list like this, relative to the Battlefield 5 leaks that we're gonna have. I think it makes sense, having a look at it with the red colors and the blue and the greens and so on. It's easy to read, it's easy to understand of what is allowed, what is not allowed, than just looking at the description to say that these are banned weapons and just randomly DLC weapons are allowed. But the thing is, you get some of the guys that buy into the game a bit late so they wouldn't know which was originally in there and which ones were added with DLC and that kind of thing. So this gives a nice perspective of what is allowed and what is not allowed within the league. So I think this is definitely something that we'll follow through.
Yep.
On Battlefield 5.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so we build a nice league as time goes on. But once again, thanks to Captain Shabby there from ITF who put this whole list together. We really appreciate it, and it's a valuable tool to use within the clan wars.
Absolutely. And I think also, Slash, I know you mentioned it earlier, there are some, as things change, obviously, this sort of documents and things will change as well, because sometimes, DICE gets this, brain explosion and they think, yes, this is a great idea, let's just add some of these things to the base game, and then, of course, it becomes available to all players. But I'm not 100% convinced, that's always the best thing to sort of, in the middle of somewhere, make some stuff available that guys have or don't have. I don't know, what's your view, guys? Slash, do you think it's a good idea that they do that?
Yeah, I think they make it difficult. Because now all of a sudden it's available, but nobody's played with those guns, and the guys who have played with it, in any case, thinks they're too good in any case to be part of the competitive scene kind of thing. I think it's a tough one. We can only hope that there's not too many of those kind of things in Battlefield 5, because there's not going to be any DLCs. But I think it's a tough one. If you haven't played with those kind of guns all the time, and they were part of a DLC and not everybody had access to them, and now all of a sudden they're available and people see, yes, but this gun is now the best thing under the sun. I think for competitive fair play and these kind of things, it makes it very tough. It makes it difficult.
Absolutely.
So, not easy.
Scully, your view?
Yeah, definitely. I think on the, like Slash mentioned there, that there's not going to be DLCs, but obviously we're going to have a situation where some items or guns are very overpowered, like we had with gas, for instance, that moves through the walls. If we have the same scenario on Battlefield 5, that'll be one of the things that obviously we won't be able to allow within the competition scene, just because of the fact that it's broken. It doesn't work as it is intended. And I'm sure that we'll see a few overpowered guns as well, or weapons in Battlefield 5. But I think, just kicking it off, maybe the first one that we'll have is we'll get all the input from the clan leaders and the players itself, and their views on some of these weapons and the ones that they think that we should leave out or add in and that kind of thing. But I don't think the list will be the same or as long as we have now, because of the lack of DLCs.
Yeah.
But there will definitely be some items and weapons that will be banned if it's too overpowered or broken, not working as intended.
Yes, overpowered or broken. I like that. Look, obviously the one thing that I can with a fair amount of certainty say, but let's see what it looks like, but I reckon there will still not be heavy bombers allowed in Battlefield 5, but let's see where they fix that. Yes, I hate that thing.
Yeah.
I've been killed by a heavy bomber more than anything else.
Yeah, that's just a nightmare. Yes, those things, they fly so high. Can't get to them. That's where you rely on your pilot to take it down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although it's not...
If you actually look...
Sorry, Slash, go.
Yeah, but if you actually look at the video playing in Battlefield 5 that we're displaying now, and you look at the flak guns that's going to be available, I mean, they're taking down those big airplanes. So hopefully there's something in there, and we can allow a bit more. I think to allow more is less stuff that we've got to control at the end of the day as well. But yeah, those things are just, I don't know, I hate them.
Yeah, and look, at the moment, I mean, even if you have a relatively good pilot, I mean, it's not a sissy aircraft, right? I mean, the thing doesn't go down after 2 shots. So your pilot's got to, really work at it, right, to actually get that plane down. But yeah, So guys, as I mentioned earlier, and as we've been talking about the last probably 5 or 7 minutes or so, there is a weapons list now available in terms of what weapons are allowed, which weapons are DLC, and then you'll also see on the list that there's already some confirmed Battlefield 5 weapons on that list. And that list is available on our website on www.bfclanwars.net. It's under the section called News and under the menu item called Clan Wars, and you'll find the weapons list there. Sorry, Scully, the gentleman's name who assisted us with this list is?
It's a gentleman from ITF. It's Captain Shabby.
Captain Shabby. So guys, thank you very much, Captain Shabby, especially a shout out to you. I think this list looks really, really great. So thanks for helping us with that as well. And guys, please go and check it out. It is a very comprehensive list and very easy to read. So I think it's absolutely cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great, guys. Just before we sort of move on to the tables, I know the first week's tables aren't always that exciting to look at because there's in some cases not that much that has happened yet. But before we move on to that, just two other quick things that I want to touch on, just some rules that you have to go and check out. They have some small or minor changes to them, or they have been called out during the week. So there is obviously a rule around international players. What does international players, how many are allowed, and what do we consider an international player and that sort of thing. So please go and check out that rule. I know that there was some discussions going on during the week between two teams who was uncertain on some of the elements of this rule. So there is that international rule. Please go and check that out. And then also please check out the rule on server crashes. Obviously we had an incident this week. I think it was on Wednesday night, right?
Yeah. I think it was Wednesday.
So I think Wednesday night there was an incident there where there was some server crashes going on, and some teams could and some teams couldn't finish their game. So please also familiarize yourself with the server crash rule. I think the main thing to call out in the server crash rule is that, say for example, my team and Slash's team are playing, and for whatever reason the server crashes and we have to reschedule the game, as long as I have players on my roster, the next match that is rescheduled, I can play any of those players on the roster. Am I correct in saying that, Scully?
Yeah, definitely. You don't have to field the exact same players that you had for that specific lineup when the server crashed. We understand that some people might not make it, and there might be some that do, but at the end of the day you are allowed to play whoever is listed in your team or on your roster for the next or rescheduled game.
Yeah, so I mean there's not a limitation from that perspective. I mean, and the reality is it's also to be a little bit accommodating, right?
Yeah, we want to keep it simple. There was a suggestion, I think it was from Big Put, who said we should look at like maybe 70-75% of your existing, or you should have that specific team 70 to 75% that was involved in the server crash should be in the reschedule. But I mean, nobody sits with a calculator trying to work out what's 75 players I should add. And yeah, if you look at a T5, it's 4 of the originals and one new guy that you can put in there. But then it just makes it more complicated. So we want to try and keep things as simple as possible.
Yeah. And also be accommodating, right? I mean, the reality is that if I was available to play on Wednesday night, I might not be available on Thursday night. And, because of the rule that we have in there that the game has to be played within a specific period of time after being rescheduled, you can't keep the guys to availability, right? You don't know whether they would be available or not. So it's also just that
someone from other teams. Yeah.
So
just to keep it simple, if the guy is in your teammate, you play him. Doesn't matter if he played or if he didn't play in the previous match, he can play the next one.
As long as he's on the roster, right?
As long as he's on the roster, at least, yeah.
Excellent. And then the last thing is just the stream rules, guys. I just want to call out again. We did relax those stream rules last season. And if you know or if you don't know, point of view or first person streams are totally allowed. You are more than welcome to do those at any given point in time in as many quantities as you want. They are 100% fine. And then of course we also have the rule about own streaming. We didn't have that in season 1 and sort of halfway through season 2, and then we made the adjustment, and that rule is now still available for season 3. You can actually stream your own game or your own team's game, but there are some very specific rules around how you do that. For example, if you stream your own team, there has to be a representative of the other team playing within that stream. That's the first thing. Secondly is that it has to be streamed. It can't be like a sort of a private spectating match, and that's quite important as well. So please go and familiarize yourself again with the stream rules. Also, if you don't know that, like I said, it has been relaxed and updated a little bit from what we had in season 2 to be a little bit more relaxing and accommodating. As Scully always mentioned, the one thing about Clan Wars is, and this is the thing that I think Clan Wars offers that other leagues don't, is that because I almost want to say on a one-on-one basis with the community, we can be very accommodating in terms of what works and what doesn't work for the league. And again, some of these rules and some of these things are in place specifically because we don't only want to build a proper league, but we also want to build a league that's very accommodating and very flexible, and allows for the guys to continuously have fun. And if something works or doesn't work, we put something in place. And so there's bound to be some rule adjustments again now in season 3, as we get smarter with these things and see some things coming up and creep out the woodwork and all sorts of things like that. But I think in general, Scully, your opinion is the same, right? I mean, we try and be as flexible as we can.
Absolutely. A lot of these other leagues out there have, or they endorse exclusive rights to streaming of their specific leagues' games. And it's understandable because, they do put in a lot of hard work in that. And on our side, it's exactly the same. We do have a clause that, we have the right to the first option to stream these games. But obviously, we don't have the capacity to do that. And having a huge league like this, ongoing, is there's in excess of 5 to 8, 10 games a night, or over a period of 3 nights that's being played. And to stream all of them if they all start at the same time is impossible. So we would like to encourage the guy.
Hello?
To their specific clan channels.
Yeah.
But obviously within those boundaries that we've set, because we don't want an opposite team who's maybe lost, to come back and say, but these guys have streamed and we think that they were cheating, or information were passed on, or anything like that. That always leaves a sour taste in your mouth. So we've created those little boundaries, and just to say, just stick to that. If nobody's streaming your game, but you want to do it to your personal channel on a first person basis, you can do that. If you have a clanmate that wants to stream it, who's not playing that specific night, he's welcome to do so. But then obviously add someone from the opposite team in your party chat and, stream the thing together.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So there's always a way to get around these things. And that's, as you mentioned, that's the thing that makes Clan Wars a bit more flexible and an all-inclusive kind of thing. It's the same as what we had now with, not everything we say and do is cast in stone. We have always had discussions about rules. We've always included the community in some of these, in most of whatever we do within Clan Wars, because ultimately, it's a collective thing for the community, by the community, and the involvement of the community is very important, like we had with the weapons list, for instance. Yeah. That's someone that took initiative to do this, and everybody benefits from us. It's not only us, me, you, and Slash, and Riplets, and Rocks, but everybody in the community, everybody who plays, all the guys who participate, will find some use in that weapons list. So that's the kind of thing that makes us unique and I would say better than the rest.
Yeah.
And we can only get better from here. I mean, it's awesome to see that the guys are coming up with things like this. Excellent.
Good. Slash, I know you're watching the stream there.
Yeah, I'm watching a stream here. So I've got two questions that's been thrown at us.
Mm-hmm.
The one comes from Reinhard saying, can Battle Bros try and create a podcast for the weekly roundup? And then we also had from, I think it's Bernard, I'm just trying to find it. Can there be a minimum requirement of the abilities of the streamer? Some teams need help in this.
So I think the first question I'm going to leave for Scully. Scully, I don't know. Can we do a podcast?
Well, you can see this as a sort of a podcast. It's something we can look at. Maybe not now on this battlefield, maybe on the new battlefield. Once we finish with season 3, we're going to have some time off where we can sit and brainstorm some new ideas. I think it's a very good idea. So we can see how we can fit it in within obviously our work schedule during the week and weekends and that kind of thing as well. So yeah, we'll put it on the bucket list and see how we can make it work.
Like it. And then the second question, sorry, Slash, if you can just repeat that.
Yeah, so basically, Bernard is asking, can there be a minimum requirement of the abilities of the streamers? Some teams need help in this.
You know what? That's a very difficult question to answer, and I'll tell you why.
I don't understand the question.
No, I know what he's saying. He's saying that some of the streams that he's seen might not have been of the best of quality, and some of them are great. And he's asking whether there's a minimum sort of requirement. And here's the thing why it's a difficult question to answer, right? Is that people. For me, about streaming is about enjoying it, right? Because you can literally, a stream doesn't have to be the best quality for me to enjoy the stream. And I'm not saying that this is the case, but if I take VTRN for example, who has a very good quality stream, by the way, but these guys are super entertaining, right? I mean, I can listen to them for 40 minutes without sort of switching to anything else, because they're very entertaining. So the quality thing is always important, yes, because you want to give people a good visual, and of course not everybody's running fiber and high speeds and that sort of thing, but if your stream quality is decent, I think the reality is that it's a fact whether the stream is entertaining or not. At the end of the day, I'm not here to judge people around whether the quality of their streams are great or not great, or entertaining or not entertaining. From my perspective, I would like to have as many people stream as many games to the community as possible, because that's the idea, right? Is that there's, DSTV is no longer, something to watch, because there's so many of the same shows, and we are creating something to watch and that people enjoy. But definitely for me, if I had to say if there's a minimum quality, that sounds like something that I need to regulate, which is something that first of all I can't do, and second of all I don't think I want to do. I think it's important for me to people have passion, that they enjoy what they do, that they want to bring the community some streams. At the end, if the stream is like rather bad quality or it's not entertaining, then people simply won't watch it, right? From our perspective, from a Clan Wars perspective, we do obviously try and monitor, because the last thing that we want is the Clan Wars name associated to a stream that's does things like talk about racial issues or sexism, or aligns with some political party or whatever may be the case. Obviously, we can't do that either, and we want to try and be as biased as we can across the board and across all issues. But the reality is that if the stream is about Clan Wars, the guys are excited, they want to do it, then we try and help them to get that stream quality up and bring the guys, I almost want to say, a good show. But definitely not something that I think can be controlled. It is more a passion thing at this point than anything else. And to be fair, I haven't seen any streams that I really cringed at yet. I think everybody who's streaming at the moment is doing a very good job, in my opinion. With the tools available and what is there. I haven't seen any streams that I cringe on. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. You see, my view on this is that streaming in South Africa is in its infant stage at this point in time. You know, we've been lagging behind with technology for such a long time, and we're only starting to pick up now with the guys getting fiber and that kind of thing, and having the actual tools to do a proper stream. But obviously, having a good fiber line is not the only thing. There's a lot of, if you want to be a good streamer, is that there's a lot of other things that you have to look at. Like I've had some experiences where I had a look at a stream where the camera the guy using control of the camera just floats around the map all the time, and you get nauseous watching it. You know, so that's some of the things that the guys can have a look at. Is just to slow down the camera. There's a lot of pointers, obviously, that we can dish out. The thing is, after you've done your stream, it's important for you to go and watch your stream and see where you can improve. Because I mean, the whole thing is it's new for a lot of people. Nobody's experts in this. Some obviously are, that's been doing it for quite some time. But especially for the new guys, you know, do the streams, record your gameplay video while you don't have to stream it directly, but I mean you can record video and do flybys and do commentating and that kind of thing to get yourself up to speed and build a bit more confidence. But at the end of the day, you know, there's always room for improvement, and the only way that you can do that is to obviously look at your own streams, listen to your voice, look at dead space, look at boring stuff. You know, I went into a stream and they were just flying around with the camera on the map the whole time while the teams were getting ready to spawn. Nobody was talking, nobody was informing me what was happening. So after like 3 minutes, I was like, okay, I don't know what's happening here, and then I switched off and moved on to something else. So it's important to keep the order. They must just bear in mind that there's actually someone on the other side sitting and listening and watching to what you are saying and what you are doing.
Yeah, that's true.
And to provide that with, you know, or to create then decent content accordingly. Yeah. But yes, there is definitely, I agree, there is room for improvement, but that'll only come with time and experience, obviously.
Yeah.
But we don't have a set standard at this point in time. Is you know, just if you've got the ability to do so, because that's the only way that you're going to learn.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, you're not going to learn. You're going to sit and wander, and that's it. So if you want to be a content creator, go out, do it, but review your own work and be open to criticism, you know, in order to improve. That's just my 5 cents on that.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what we do. We always try and improve. We always try and make something better. And, you know, I remember, Jaco, I don't know if you can remember, but just before we started this recap show, before we started all of the streaming, basically, I created videos on the side and uploaded a little bit to the Battle Bros website, to the Battle Bros channel. And then there were weeknights, 2-3 weeks in a row, where we were testing and playing and overlaying and doing this and doing. Remember that? It was a period that was a hell of a learning curve for us when we just started the streaming process.
That one time
what we are doing now.
I think that one time we spent the entire week, every night of the week, just doing a stream, but we were streaming it to like a different channel, and that's all. We just streamed to test the sound, test the visuals, test the overlays. So yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it, right?
Yeah. If you want to take it to the utmost, you know, try and put out something, a professional kind of thing out there. But it does take time. Sorry, Slash.
No, not at all. I think you're spot on. And if guys are watching, I don't think anybody out there won't listen to, I just want to add these words, positive and constructive criticism. Because I think anybody wants their stream to be better and more people to watch it and more people to dial in to watch what they're doing. So yeah, I think it's spot on.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I remember when we just started this, you know, we were very ambitious with, hey, we're going to get 1,000 subscribers within the first 6 months and that kind of thing. And that's not how it works. I mean, I'm not sure on what our subscriber count at this point in time is, but what I can say is it takes a hell of a lot of time to build an audience and build something to a point where you can sit back and look at it and say, wow, look at what we've achieved within a year or 2 years or that kind of thing. You know, building your own channel, building your own brand is not an easy thing to do. You know, it's easy to, hey, my PlayStation can stream to YouTube, let's do a stream kind of thing. But to get it to be consumed as a good quality product is a different story, and that takes work.
Yeah.
But we encourage people, obviously, everybody who wants to stream and want to stream the Battlefield Clan Wars games and matches is to do so. I mean, the only way that you're going to get where you want to be is to actually start doing it.
Yeah, look,
and then obviously just look back at what you've done and reassess your work.
And again, guys, I mean,
you
can understand from our perspective, Clan Wars is something that we are building up and building up as a brand and that sort of thing. And like I said, earlier, yes, we do check the streams and try and advise, but there's no real minimum quality, because as part of what we try and do, besides doing Clan Wars, it's also about uplifting the community. And as Scully rightfully said, is that the only way that you get to do it or get to be better at what you do is to actually do it and learn, because people will give you feedback as long as you are open to, as Slash said, positive, reinforcing criticism, and you can listen to what people are saying and wanting. Then I think you're moving in the right direction. I mean, even now, we still don't always get it 100% right. And there's things. I mean, I saw on the chat, Spooky mentioned there that it's critical that teams have knowledge about the games, which is something that I obviously didn't even think about there for a second, because in my view, if you are going to stream, yes, you definitely need to at least know what the game's about. I mean, you can't be talking about the COD guns on TDM, right?
So, correct. And the other thing is Jaco, that's spot on what you are saying now. And if you look at the processes that we've got in place, like the Battlefield Clan Wars team lists, for instance, is whenever you stream a game with one team versus another, you always have this tool, which is the website available with the team and their achievements of previous seasons at your fingertips. Mm-hmm. So you can use that as talking points within the streams.
100%.
And anybody can use that. So I mean, this whole thing is still evolving, and I think that we are about halfway there. In my opinion, where what we're doing absolutely is great at this point in time, but we're not there yet. We're still evolving, and we will always be evolving. There's always new stuff that's going to come online, and something that we can do better. And as we grow and get better at what we are doing, the community and the guys who are involved in this, directly or indirectly, will also grow, and will also grow their clan channels, will grow their Facebook pages, the clan Facebook pages and that kind of thing. Yep. And that's a nice thing. I mean, 5 years from now, you're going to look back and say, hey man, I was in the Mad Clan, or I was with the Monkeys, I was with LGD. Look at the achievements that we achieved, within this Clan Wars and on that league and this league and that kind of thing. So that's awesome to have that kind of information, available to you. So yeah, man, just go out there and do it.
Absolutely. Slash, before I move on, anything else on the stream that we need to be aware of, the chat or anything interesting there that we need to still cover off?
Yeah, so just one thing that popped up is the yellow card. The guys reckon the yellow card system is a bit harsh, and losing points for an admin thing when it actually doesn't impact your gameplay. My quick view on this is it is actually part of the team, and and everything makes up a game. Doesn't matter what game you play. So if you don't do your due diligence, even if you play rugby, as an example, you will get disqualified to play if your team is not listed and these kind of things in professional gaming. Now, I'm not saying we're professional, but to make the game flow, we need people to do certain things, and that's why the yellow card system was brought in, because people just don't do them, even though we ask very nicely. so that's why there's yellow card.
You are spot on there, Slash. The thing is, it's not there to reprimand or to discourage teams or anything like that. That is there to guide and the flow. That's why it's there. It's you made a mistake. Okay, you haven't listed your teams yet, but we've asked you for the last 3 weeks already, 7 times a day on Discord, on Facebook. This is where we are now in the process. This is where we are in the process. So I mean, we can only do as much, and to get everybody on board and move the ship in the direction that we have to go. And if you have all these little ships that's on the sea, and one is fucking off on the left and one is going off on the right, you're never going to get there. And that's why we have these yellow cards. That's the boundary lines that you have to work within in order to get all these little ships in the same direction and get to the end point at the end of the day. If we didn't have these yellow cards, nobody will give a shit about adding their players. Yes, it is administrative penalties that come through, but at the end of the day, to complete the circle, that is what we need to have in place to get where we want to be. It's not a punishing tool or anything like that. It's just to make people aware that this is our standard, this is what we require. So please, if you want to participate within Battlefield Clan Wars, this is what you have to adhere to, at least, the minimum. This is what we require from you, and that's why it's there, and it's not going to go away.
Yeah,
just saying.
Excellent. So we have talked a lot this morning, and I think it's time that we move on to the tables or to the logs. I don't think there's anything else that we need to cover other than that.
Yeah, let's have a look at how did the guys do this week.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for that. Let's have a look.
Of course, it's week 1, so there's some divisions actually had a bit of a tough time with the server crashes this week. For example, if you have a look at the screen, you will see that in Division 1, there's only 2 teams that managed to actually play their game this week because of the server crashes. Those other games were actually set up, but they because of the server crash, they had to be rescheduled. And I mean, if you look at Division 1, for example, the game that was supposed to be played between First and Red, that was one of the games influenced by the server drop, as well as the game between LGD and 4Q also had to be rescheduled because of the server drop. And then, of course, the guys who had their bye week is WTF. They wouldn't have played this week at all. But of course, the game there between MSNK and Mad did happen, and of course the Monkeys walked away with that one. I saw there was some celebrations going on there, and good to see that the Monkeys are performing there in Division 1. I mean, they played Mad and beat Mad, who was the runners up in their division in the previous season. So obviously the Monkeys are impressing there at the moment, and you should have bet money this season, Scott.
No, I don't know about that. Those guys are going to make me bankrupt if I bet against them again.
No, but
so we won't do that this season.
Okay, I'll take the betting this season. And then, of course, guys, you can see that the way that we're going to handle this season is we will show you all the tables at the same time, so that we can talk a little bit more cohesively about the different divisions. Obviously, Division 2 there at the moment, most of the guys have played there. Royal had their bye week. The 3 teams, of course, taking their games in Division 2 this week is CTK, Raw and THC, each coming out there with a win, so well done to those guys in Division 2. And then looking at Division 3, the teams taking their wins there is LOTS, Reka and S187. Every season I say Raki. So LOTS, Raki and S187 there in Division 3 taking their wins. So very, very well done for that. And then obviously we will be looking within the next couple of days for those reschedules in Division 1 for this week's games. Of course, it will mean that most of the Division 1 teams, within the next couple of days leading into next week will actually have more than one game to play, right? So they will play this game as well as the coming week's game. So that's going to be pretty interesting as well.
It's going to be a tough one because some of these teams have got T5s in as well.
Yes.
So I just hope that they'll be able to make it and we can get up to speed if we don't have any server issues this week. So we can be on par next week.
Absolutely. So obviously,
or the week after, actually.
So obviously, in week 1, just those Division 1 teams really influenced hard by the server crash. I think they were all planning to play on that one particular night, but everybody else progressing nicely, playing through their first games. Besides, obviously, the guys who had their bye weeks. And some early leaders. So interesting. I see CTK again up there as an early leader, and then of course Raw as well, which I like to see. I mean, these guys have done their thing in the past, and they've been around a couple of seasons with us as well. And then the new teams in there: SBK, Sons of Anarchy, and VTRN. In Division 2 as well. Going to be watching them, and then I think. In Division 3 for me, probably GSE I'm watching closely. I think these guys are up and coming and they're pushing hard. I hear UB is back with a bang as well, and then of course we've got S187 falling in this season into Division 3 there, and Division 1 I'm saying nothing about. There is so many possibilities there. Very, very strong teams. Sorry, Steph,
I just have to say. No, I just have to say. Oh, so sorry for you, Matt. So sorry. So early on. Only 2 teams we can talk about, and one lost. So, but yeah. I
don't think that they were mad after that game, though.
I think they were very mad, but but it's but it's good to see early on, But it's too early to say anything.
It's
still
early days.
Lekker. Right, moving on then to the T5 tables. And I think this is a good view for everyone because it's obviously a pool system. Guys, as you know, the way the T5 works is that at the moment there are 6 pools. Each pool has 5 teams. They will play off throughout the season to get to call it the high scores, and the scores will determine who goes into the quarters, the semis, and the finals. So
this is not going to work like that. Once these teams have played these 6 pools, we're going to sit with 3 teams that's left.
Correct.
As Bokis has explained to me, so we're not going to have semis and then finals. At the end of the day, we're going to sit with 3 teams, and those 3 teams will then battle it out for first, second, and third place.
Okay, so it has come to a playoff then, right?
Yeah, kind of thing. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same as last season.
With the 4 teams, we're going to stick to the 3 and then the playoffs.
Yes.
That's going to be very interesting, I think. Again, something a little bit different that Niku is trying. Scully, is that correct?
Yeah, that's how I understand it. I'm not 100% sure on how, but that's what he mentioned to us a while back.
Okay, so what we could potentially do on this, I know that I saw the discussions that it might work different this season because of the number of teams and the number of pools. As you guys can see, is that none of the pools are actually equal teams. They all have 5, so there's always a team within a particular week that has a bye. So I know that Niku mentioned to us that it might work slightly different towards the end. Of course, in the beginning it makes no difference. It continues exactly the way that the T5 pools are played to get to the highest scoring points. And I think for week 1 it actually went rather well. I think the only one that was an issue was in Pool 6. There was a game between MSNK and WTF that had to be rescheduled, which has not happened as yet. Of course, in that division, Gig had their bye, and the games that was played was SNLV and Native. with the new team, Native taking the loss, unfortunately, there against SNLV. The Clowns obviously, putting out the game there. But in terms of early sort of leaders in the other pools, in Pool 1, both LGD, Acid and MRU there, early leaders in their games. In Pool 2, it is Destruction and Red that took their wins there for the week. Pool 3, the Killers, which is the new VTRN team, as well as Mob taking their wins. Pool 4, it was the wins for Royal Crowns and THC. DPS and Lots took their wins in Pool 5, and then, as I said, in Pool 6, it was the team of SNLV that took the win there. So all around, the T5 actually doing very well. I don't think there were too many games that was influenced by that server crashes. And nice to see such a lot of teams again entering season 3 in the T5.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. I mean, 6 pools with 5 teams each is it's a good amount of teams. It's a good mix that we have for this season as well. So yeah, just thanks to the guys who registered for that.
Cool. And I think I think this coming week with all the games that have been rescheduled and the other games coming up, I mean, the story. We've been through this a couple of times. As the season progresses, these tables become more and more exciting because they become strategic, right? Not only in terms of the yellow cards and the games won and games lost, but also in terms of how the guys are racking up points. And then something important to mention is, as you guys know, of course not on the T5 but on the Premier League, all of those points still rack up to the Masters table. So, the way that this works is your points are accumulative into the Masters table. So as you progress through seasons and through different game modes, those points will all rack up to the Masters. And again, it will be the same for Season 3 as well. Gents, I don't know if there's any...
We're definitely going to change that Masters table up and refine it a bit to be more functional in Battlefield 5. It's looking at this, the pools, what we have now, for instance, if you look at the glossy area there where it tells you red card, yellow card and so on, just before points you see the B, which is bonus points. I don't think that we should call it bonus points, for instance. I think that should be called maps, because that is exactly what it is. That's the amount of maps that the team has taken.
Correct.
You see that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Slash?
Yeah,
because I think it's a bit confusing, because they can see, well, why the hell do we have so many bonus points? And it's not actually a bonus points, it's the amount of maps that you've taken so far. So there you get, obviously you get a win, because you get 1 point for the win, and then you get 1 point for each map that you've taken. And you can only take 2, you can't take 3. So we can't see it as a bonus point. I think we need to change that.
And it gives us another factor to work with.
Yeah.
On the master list.
Yeah, because
what do you say, Manamarak?
I agree. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it can be confusing if it says bonus points and the guys don't understand how the scoring system works, because effectively it is maps, right? It means you've taken 2 maps.
Yeah. Correct.
And then, of course, as that accumulates, it becomes easier for us to... we of course already know this, so we can already do it, but like I said, it might be confusing for the guys out there. We can then, after a season, actually see exactly how many maps you've taken throughout the entire season. Which is quite a nice statistic to be able to talk about if you're trying to compare 2 teams, right?
Yeah.
So that's actually, I think, Scully, I know you. If you see something, you start making work for yourself, and then that,
yes, I'm a job creator.
So I do think that needs to change. Anyway,
the job creator. Yeah.
Guys, before we sort of move on, is there anything else that I might have missed around the tables, or the T5 or the T12 tables, that you still want to talk about or mention? Just want to make sure before I move on.
No, I just wanted to say, thanks to the guys who participated in Season 3. We know, it's late in this franchise of Battlefield 1, and guys are starting to branch off onto other games and new games on the horizon and so on. But that's why we divided, like the pools into 5 teams, and let's try and get it done within, I think it's 7 weeks. Yaku, how long is this one going to go?
Yeah, it's going to be 7 weeks, excluding any sort of playoffs that need to happen, right? So official gameplay weeks is 7, and then there will probably be another week or 2 of, sort of round up and close out and that sort of things. It looks to be about 9 weeks in total until the next award show.
Yeah, so we're trying to cut it short, not to prolong this thing too much. Because we know that the guys are branching off to other titles and that kind of thing. So, but for the guys who are still sticking around, loving the Battlefield, thank you, and good luck for your next few games.
Like, Scully, was that some of your final word as well?
No, it's not my final word. I've always got something to say. But this is relevant. I don't know what your next topic is going to be that we're going to chat about after the table. So for the guys who are participating, that's it.
Slash, anything on the tables that I might have missed or that you wanna say there?
No, I think we spot on. I think we all there.
Okay. So, guys, the last thing that I wanted to talk about this morning, in terms of the specifically sort of working in with what we've been talking about, the tables and that sort of thing, is Scully. Obviously, from my side and from Slash's side as well. Thank you very much for some work that you've been doing on the background in the back end on the website. It is looking really, really good for me at the moment. If you go there, you can actually see a Battlefield 5 counter, which I pretty much look at every day. Today it says 89 days, 13 hours and 53 minutes. So that's pretty cool, and there's some hard work that's gone into the website there. And I know that there's some changes and some things going on around blogs and news and that sort of stuff, that some work that you're doing. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to also tell the guys what's coming on the website in the near future.
Yeah, so what we want to do is see if we can add more articles and have a bit more write-ups. More information, around Clan Wars itself, what's happening and so on. And just trying to document and build that CV that we've been talking about for so long. Not only for us, but for the clans as well. So if there's anybody out there who's got this flair for creative writing, they can get in contact with me. And if they would like to have a little segment where they want to write a blog or write a little news post on a weekly basis, that kind of thing, they can get in contact with me and we can make that happen. You'll see that we've under the news section, we've only got a few subcategories, so we're not branching out into a lot of fields. It's only going to be the past events, which we will be as we have listed it now, and then we'll have current events for Clan Wars, and then the next category will obviously be the next Battlefield title, which is Battlefield 5. And then maybe some general gaming news in South Africa. But that'll obviously depend on if there's someone out there who's willing and able or would like to give it a shot to start writing some articles and that kind of thing. So if you click on it now, you'll see that we haven't done anything on that site yet. So we would like to make the page a bit more user-friendly and give a bit more useful information out there. And that's why we activated the blog side of this website.
Absolutely. And then of course it's there, the website also, you can find all the rules there. You can view the individual teams, and of course the awards for both season 1 and 2 has been updated now already. So the awards are there, the teams are building out their own little CV pages on the page as well. The league tables are there for the current season. There's an event list if you or a results page if you wanted to go and look back a little bit about some games that were played. There's an events list. I mean, there's a lot going on the website, guys. So again, Scully, from my side, thank you very much. Slash, I know you also help with a lot of sort of back end activity on the website also. If you guys,
can we have a look at sorry, Yaku, man. Can we have a look at the teams page there? Maybe look at LGD with the awards that that's on their page and what their page looked like at this point in time?
Well, I can't pull it up this morning. What I will do is we'll pull it up on the next award show just to show the guys. But guys, if you are on the website, go and check it out. The awards are up there. It is showing. Actually, what I can try and do is, if you give me a second, I've never done this live while we were busy.
Let's
streaming.
try if we can do that, because their page looks awesome. If you look at the achievements for season 1, they've got that to the end. They came in second place. They've got a 1 medal there, and then season 2 they just raked up a shitload of medals there.
Yeah, so let's quickly see if I can actually do this live. I'm gonna try and see if we can bring this in for you here quickly. Let's try and add that. This is actually quite an interesting thing that you're asking me to do now, Scully. On the fly,
you can do it.
On the fly.
You can do it.
There we go, and it's on the screen. So, guys, if you are looking at the page there, unfortunately it doesn't show the logo of the team, but that is LGD's achievements page. And you can see there in Clan War Season 1, they were in Division 1 and they finished second. In Season 2, they were Division 1 and Division 5 champions, and you can see both the cup and the medals and things there. Now, this actually works for every team. So if you go into any team on the website, you can actually see where they ended up within their division in each season. So we actually track that for you. For example, like I said, you can see Clan War Season 1, Division 1 LGD finished second. If you go to any other team, you will see the same. Obviously, if you have only played one season, your rewards will be less, or will look slightly different. But LGD is a good example of the awards that have been updated. And and as Scully mentioned, it's pretty much a CV that the guys are busy building for their teams, right? So I don't know. I think it's great. I think it's
awesome.
Really
and then obviously we've got that little link that you've put in there. It says visit site. I think that'll go to either their YouTube channel or their Facebook page.
Correct.
So teams who are listed with us, they can opt in where they would like to redirect visitors if they click on that little visit site button to either go to their YouTube channel or to go to the Facebook page.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's about...
a little nice to have.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about promoting these clans, right?
Yeah, correct.
So, I mean, that's what it's about. It's about, getting the guys' names out there. I mean, here's the thing.
Yeah,
when it comes to recruiting, there's always that place you want to show off, right? And, I mean, for us, that's the idea with these team pages. Is that's the place where the guys go, well, look at what we've achieved. If you want to join our clan.
Yeah, because you always get this guy. He comes on Facebook and he says, boom, this is my stats. I'm looking for a clan, and then you get join this clan, join this clan, join this clan. The guys who's recruiting.
Yeah.
So what the guys now can do is they can go and copy the Battlefield Clan Wars link for their team page and say, boom, this is our clan and this is what we've achieved. And then you can read about it. Let's take LGD as an example. It says LGD Legendary is a South African-based clan that was formed in May 2010. We are a proud group of gamers who enjoy social gaming across multiple platforms and titles, but also enjoy the competitive side of gaming. And then, of course, we showcase all the achievements. And I think that's a good selling tool for any new recruit to have a look at. So. Yes, man. These things are just working out beautifully.
Yeah, it's coming to a point.
Use it. Yeah, use it.
Excellent. But that is what I had for today. So, guys, if you have joined us for the stream this morning, thank you very much for joining. If you're already subscribed to our channel, that's great. If you are not, please hit the little subscribe button. Also, hit the little bell to get your notifications. As always, I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to, give me your last thoughts and, what you are concerned about or thinking about. And Slash, let's start there with you.
Yeah, so guys, good luck with the upcoming games for the new week, and for those who still need to replay some of the games. I think it's it's a lot of games coming this week because of the glitch in the system that the guys couldn't play. If there's anything you want to know, hit us up on Discord and let us know your concerns or your comments or your feedback, and let's keep chatting.
Excellent. Rebel?
We've spoken so much already this morning, but just once again, thanks to the guys who are participating at this point in time. Thanks for all your input. Thanks for making your suggestions. Just keep them coming. We are there to listen and to build this into a phenomenal league. And we're trying to get everything obviously 100%, but we can't do it without your input. So for the guys who've shown some initiative and stepping forward to help us out and making Clan Wars a success, thanks to you guys. And all the best for the week with the new matches, and I know those rescheduling matches and all of that, so there's going to be a few games that's going to be played, but I'm sure that you guys will manage, and if there's any hiccups, just let us know. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.
Nice. Guys, from my side, just thank you very much for joining us for the stream this morning. Again, if you are a creative writer and want to do some of those articles, get in touch with Scully this week. If you are a streamer and need some help or want to get into streaming, get in touch with me. If you have questions about the admin side or the back end of the website and that sort of thing, Slash is always helpful for that. We each play our critical part in this. But gentlemen, it was a fun and great morning and streaming with you guys again, so thank you very much for that. From my side, my throat is dry. I need to go shopping. That's all I had for this week. I'm Jaco Sauer for Battle Bros. See you on the battlefield.